Imagine a world where every payment required carrying heavy bags of metal coins and merchants traveled long distances with ropes of bronze coins tied around their waist. This was ancient China, centuries before paper money existed, and money did not flow smoothly. It weighed people down. Tens of kilograms of coins had to be moved just to complete transactions, creating a problem that became the seed of one of humanity's greatest financial inventions. It all began in the era of emperors, merchants, iron smelters, and silk traders, and this is the story of how China invented paper money and changed the world. China used bronze coins with square holes long before banknotes existed, and coins were tied on strings, often in groups of 1,000. A string of coins was heavy, sometimes more than a packed travel bag, and merchants traveling between cities carried multiple strings of coins. Robbery was common, and travelers feared being attacked, and the growth of trade made the problem even bigger. As markets expanded, the demand for coins increased, but producing coins required copper, tin, and iron, which were expensive and limited. China faced a strange financial crisis: too much trade, not enough metal, and the economy grew fast. The money system could not keep up. People needed a lighter, safer, faster way to pay, and the solution would soon rewrite economic history. Paper money began during the Song dynasty around 962–1279 AD, and the Song period was one of the most advanced eras in human civilization. Cities grew rapidly, some reaching populations over 1 million, and trade exploded from silk, porcelain, iron tools, and tea. The Song dynasty built remarkable roads, bridges, and markets, and merchants traveled across provinces carrying goods worth huge sums. Transporting coins for large transactions became impossible. Imagine buying a house needing a cart full of coins, or sending payment to another city with 10,000 coins. The system was collapsing under its own weight, and the government tried increasing coin production, but shortages continued. Some provinces used iron coins due to lack of copper, and iron coins were heavier than bronze. People complained constantly that coins were a burden, and merchants searched for a creative solution in Sichuan. The problem was worse than anywhere else, because Sichuan lacked enough copper to produce bronze coins. The government allowed iron coins, but they were extremely heavy, and carrying even small amounts of iron coins felt like carrying gym weights. Merchants became frustrated, tired, and desperate for change, and it was in this environment one of the greatest financial innovations was born. Merchants began issuing unofficial paper receipts known as jiaozi, and the idea behind jiaozi was simple: deposit heavy coins with a trusted merchant, receive a paper slip showing how much money you deposited, and use the slip to make purchases instead of carrying coins. Jiaozi became popular in local markets, and soon everyone preferred paper slips over heavy coins. People used paper as a medium of exchange for the first time, but private merchants sometimes issued more jiaozi than coins. Counterfeiting became a threat, and the government saw both potential and danger. The Song dynasty decided to take control, and in the early 11th century, the government officially recognized jiaozi. They completely took over the system and established the world's first government paper money bureau. This bureau printed standardized notes to replace private receipts, and official notes were backed by the government, giving trust and authority. For the first time, a government issued true paper currency, and each note represented a fixed amount of coins. People were encouraged to deposit coins and use paper instead, and the government regulated how much money entered circulation. Expiration dates prevented overuse of old notes, and this was the beginning of the first centralized money system. Merchants traveled without fear of robbery, and markets became more active. Trade became faster, and economic life became easier. China's financial system entered a new age because it mastered multiple technologies early. Paper was invented nearly 1,000 years earlier, and woodblock printing allowed mass production of documents. Advanced ink enabled clear, secure printing, and these technologies created printed banknotes. Early notes were large sheets of thick, durable paper, and they were printed using wooden blocks carved by artisans. Every note carried the government seal for authenticity, and complex artwork and symbols prevented counterfeiting. Some notes included warnings against forgery. One warning read, "Those who counterfeit will be executed." This message kept people honest and protected the economy, and notes displayed values and sometimes pictures of goods. People admired the beauty of the printed notes and began to trust paper more than heavy coins. This shift was psychological as much as economic, and wealth was no longer judged by weight. This changed society's understanding of value, and merchants could travel longer distances without fear. Trade increased dramatically across the empire, and goods moved faster from one region to another. Farmers could sell their produce far from home because currency was easy to carry, and city markets became busier, and more profitable taxes became easier to collect because payments were more convenient, and government revenue increased, strengthening the economy. Roads, bridges, and infrastructure projects expanded to support the fast-growing markets, and the Song dynasty flourished economically like never before. Foreign merchants visiting China were shocked to see paper money being used. They had never seen a currency made of paper. To them, it felt like magic, but to China, it was simply smart innovation and traders carrying stories of China. As paper money introduced the idea to other parts of Asia, Islamic scholars wrote detailed accounts of Chinese banknotes, and many questioned how paper could hold any value. But they also admired the power of the system, and in the 13th century Marco Polo visited China during the Yuan dynasty. He was astonished to see a well-structured paper money system and described in his travel book how China printed currency with authority and precision. Europeans who read his book were shocked, and Europe still relied only on metal coins. The idea of government-backed paper money seemed unbelievable, and it would take Europe almost 4 centuries to adopt similar banknotes. China had already shown the world the future of finance, and when the Mongols conquered China, they inherited the paper money system. Kublai Khan immediately recognized its potential and declared that paper money would be the primary currency of the empire. Taxes had to be paid using these notes, and this forced everyone to use paper currency. Kublai Khan created the first fully mandatory state currency system, and the Mongol Empire stretched across Asia and into Europe through this huge network. The idea of paper currency spread even further, and never before had a currency system reached so far. The Mongols expanded the influence of Chinese paper money to the world, but this great invention had a weakness. Paper money depends entirely on trust, and if a government prints too much, value collapses. During the later Yuan dynasty, economic problems increased, and wars and disasters drained government resources. The rulers printed excessive amounts of money to cover expenses, causing inflation to explode. Prices rose faster than people could earn money, and trust in paper currency collapsed. This was one of the world's first cases of hyperinflation, and markets destabilized, society suffered. When the Yuan dynasty ended, the Ming rulers tried using paper money again, but they made the same mistake. They printed more currency than the Yuan economy could handle, and value collapsed once again. Eventually, the Ming dynasty abandoned paper currency entirely, and silver and metal coins returned as the main currency, even though early systems failed. China had already changed the world forever, and the concept of government-issued paper currency spread slowly from China to the rest of the world. European economists studied China's methods, and by the 17th century Sweden introduced the first European paper banknotes. England followed shortly after, and eventually almost every country on Earth adopted paper money today. Its financial world is built on the foundation China created, and every banknote is a descendant. The first Chinese notes, China didn't just invent paper money, it invented a new way to measure value, and a way that replaced metal with lightweight convenience. This transformed the financial system, and merchants, governments, and ordinary people all adapted to paper currency. Infrastructure, trade networks, and markets became more sophisticated, and economic life accelerated. The Song and Yuan dynasties set a precedent for global commerce and finance. Their innovations spread knowledge of paper currency to distant lands. Paper money influenced banking systems and economic policies across Asia and Europe. Merchants, scholars, and rulers studied these systems and adapted them locally. The Mongols demonstrated that a unified currency could work on a massive empire-scale trust, and government backing became the foundation of financial stability. The failures during the Yuan and Ming dynasties taught lessons about inflation and fiscal discipline. These lessons influenced future monetary policies in China, and abroad. Governments learned that paper currency required careful regulation. Counterfeiting and overprinting could destroy entire economies. Yet the concept of paper money persisted because of its convenience and transformative power. Modern banking notes and even digital currencies trace their origins to these Chinese innovations. The Song and Yuan dynasties exemplified how technology administration and commerce could create financial breakthroughs. The story of China's paper money illustrates human ingenuity, overcoming practical challenges. And this is how China's invention of paper money transformed the financial destiny of the entire world.